And okay, we have the crappy Wi-Fi. Sorry, guys, we're live again. If we go out, you guys tell us in the comments. Hi, John, Richard, Bronze and Modern Gods, live from Baltimore Comic Con, and we're waiting for people to gather up a little bit. Raphael, just go ahead and tell them what you. Raphael's giving us like stage manager sign language. We're here. We're waiting for everyone. I am debating whether or not to put this on the iPhone instead, but we'll give this a shot. David Powell.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. You came all the way to Baltimore from where?
From Melbourne, Australia.
From friggin' Melbourne, you guys. And it's not Melbourne. It's Melbourne.
It depends on where you are. But yes, it's Melbourne.
All right. And Richard, you take this away. Talk to David a little bit about what he has here and why he brought it.
All right. So this is some amazing stuff. Both John and I are fans of the Silver Age of Marvel. And the amazing thing about where David comes from, these books had a different pricing scheme than they have in the United States. United States books are 10 cents, 12 cents, 20 cents. In Australia, they use pence as opposed to dollars.
Were these sold in Australia?
No. So this is an interesting story. So moved to Australia.
Okay.
And so what I do is I keep an eye out on the UK editions, specifically for the UK books now.
Okay.
And then have them very expensively shipped over to Australia before returning to the US to get them graded. So it's a crazy Australian price range. I do have one in the bag.
Okay, so I thought so because Australia uses dollars, right? But it's just not American dollars. It's
AUS.
AUS. Yeah,
That's it.
Okay, so these books are all from England.
The ones I've got here are all from England. As I say, I have more in there that are other variants, foreign variants that are quite interesting.
So in gathering these books, did you find the competition for them to be as steep as if they were U.S. books?
It's starting to get that way. It's an interesting one. If you'd have asked me 2 or 3 years ago, I'd have said no. And I was talking to a dealer earlier who said that actually the dealers know about it, but it's not well known in the collecting circuit.
It's not mainstream yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
We're not pushing it. We're just saying.
But it is interesting. And one of the dealers even said to me today, he's like going, these books were printed first because they had to get on a boat. So, and
do you think that's true?
From all the research
that
I've seen, it suggests that that's the case because the colors are richer, and you can see on some of these books.
Let's take a look.
Yeah, let's start. Let's go. Show a book.
So, first one, probably, this is a recent one I got. So Journey into Mystery 103, First Enchantress and Scourge the Executioner.
Oh, yeah, look at that thing.
So isn't it amazing?
You guys,
the color of this stuff.
You're not seeing this 9.2? 9.4?
I don't know. I don't think it's that high. I think the colors are
see.
amazing.
The colors
are blazing, you guys.
Like they came off the newsstand, in my opinion.
Sorry, trying to let you guys see it. Sorry, David. I want to.
So that one came through a couple of weeks back.
Can we ask how much? How much was that?
I can't recall. I honestly can't recall. Some of the big books I can remember the numbers. These ones, this was in a mixed lot, I think, of 4 books, and it could have been, I don't know, like 20 or 30 pounds. Like some of these mixed books are so unusual because you don't see them. Underneath.
Mm-hmm. I've gotten 35-cent variants like that.
I notice if you look, under the issue number, usually there's a month that's printed there. There's no month. I'm noticing on these other books as well. And was that just because they came out such a difference in terms of,
Yeah. So they'd get on the boat and essentially they wouldn't know when they'd arrive. So they took the dates off. And as you can see here, you've only got the dates removed and then the stamp is just the only difference realistically in the book.
For the, yeah,
Are
let's
these
like
what
play.
I've heard these referred to as ballast books?
Yeah.
Is that, okay.
Yeah, so they stuck them on the ships in the back in the day, essentially because they needed something to, keep the ballast. Basically ballast.
Wow.
We have a question for you, David, from Captain Crunch. What percentage of the print run of the later Marvels are Australian price variants?
Australian price points, or I don't know.
Good question.
Yeah, I don't know.
0.001.
Very low, very low. The one I've got in here is and New Mutants '98,
Yeah.
which is probably the one everyone wants to try and get.
Okay.
Well, show it.
Yeah, we got more good stuff.
Got a lot of good
amazing
stuff.
So this is another UK price variant.
I see you, Charlton. Give us a second. Did you buy anything yet? Yeah. Come back in about 10 minutes and we want to get you on and show it.
So I found this. This is not in great shape, but it's still, price variant. Again, you can see there's no it's up there.
I see your auction lot.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. They're still on there. So
At first, Craven. That movie's going to be great.
Yes. But Craven is one of those characters that's going to be popular whether the movie is successful or not. Not like the Spot.
I'm a Craven fan, but for different reasons.
All right.
And David's like, what? All right. Here's a huge key. There you go. Here's a huge key. Huge key.
So yeah, this one I've been after for a while, and again, I'm not. I'm actually now. I'm actually now looking at just getting UK price variants rather than the originals.
Okay.
Because it's just because again, I'm finding them too rare.
All
So
right.
that's why it's hard to get them, and when you find them, get them.
Can I go shopping before we air this? Oh, it's live. Oh,
Sorry,
no.
Richard, you're screwed. No, can I ask? Are these things that you're buying? Are you actively chasing these in auctions? Like, do you have alerts set up?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So all the time, it's so if I see a UK price,
And it's just to get your childhood back, right?
yeah. Well, these I'd never experienced, unfortunately, because this is slightly before my time.
Oh yeah, that'd be the 60s.
But the 70s ones, I've got most of those as well. Like the X-Men books in particular.
Okay.
I've been trying to get those because they get even more interesting in the 70s because you get the banner, which is all color comics.
And it's spelled CLOUR. Yeah.
The proper
They
one.
spelled it wrong. Thank you, Biz. Appreciate that. I was wondering how it was going. All right.
That's excellent.
The feed was awful last time. All right, another big Spider-Man key.
Yep. So I managed to get a first appearance of Mysterio.
Mm-hmm.
Again, these are sort of. I reckon they're going to be about a 3 to 4.
You think?
Yeah.
That one
that's
might
okay.
be. Yeah.
Okay.
But the 14 is better than that.
Yeah, the 14. Yeah, but again, they're still like mid-grade. Yeah, sure.
Did you clean it?
Not yet. So
Okay.
this is the other
Okay.
thing.
All right.
This is the other thing. Now,
Clean that.
I know, and this is the thing. Yeah. It's always a dilemma. It's like,
Do you care? Is the question.
I sort of, well, I do care, but it's just, it's a timing issue when I'm traveling to the US.
Sure.
I don't have the time to necessarily.
Well, I happen to have an Absorbine racer, right?
Perfect. I'll borrow that.
Oh, wow.
And then I got this one, which I'm again super happy with, and everyone I've showed it to goes, this will grade out well. So it's the first appearance of the Vulture Amazing Spider-Man number 2.
Insanity.
Number 2. Yeah, that is gorgeous.
So yeah, it's colors again on that. I like.
And so show that again, because the color strike, that goes to your point about it being first in the run, the black plate change.
So they test. I think the understanding from all the people I've talked to is that they tested it out first because then they could just do a dry run with those initial books, and they had to print them first because they were going over to the UK, so they was going to spend 6 to 8 weeks in a boat, right? So
Okay, you heard it here. Hey, it's hot here. These
there you
lights
go.
are not helping.
terrible, isn't it? So then I
What's this?
one up. Yeah, this facsimile edition it threw me a little bit, especially with that UK price.
This is not a Golden Records reprint, you guys.
Yeah. So again, this is another. This is, I think. So this one I do know how much I paid for it, and I think from memory it was £6,000.
Wow. How long ago?
About 2 months ago.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
About 2
so
months ago.
to have a Spider-Man #1 in, I'd say 6, 5,
I think
4,
slightly lower, 'cause
yeah,
it's got
4 or
this-
5, yeah, for £6,000, which would be
It's the other way.
oh, sorry,
It's not Canadian money.
Something like
It's
that.
actually pounds.
it's 4,000 loonies.
So we'll see how that one says. I think I overpaid a little on this one, given the grade,
You think?
but I'm okay with it because it's again,
All right.
it's if you think of it, the dollar version, I probably paid about right.
Okay. Educate us because we have an announcement. Everybody, pay attention. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. We refer to the pence variant, and later when it's changed, you actually see the P. These say P.
Well. So again, it's before my time, but I think it was around because of the pounds. Again, I actually don't know. All I remember is like we went through to decimalisation in the 70s, and that's when it became the P.
Okay.
So I think at this point it was still shillings and pence.
I was gonna make a joke.
Someone's going to know on the chat because I don't.
I was gonna make a joke about it being shillings, but it actually might have been.
It might be 9 shillings. I don't know. Like this is the thing.
Captain Crunch in the chat says the only UK price variant I have is a Werewolf by Night 32 CGC 9.2.
Nice.
I bought it raw and pressed and graded it. Lucked out with that $500 purchase on eBay.
Oh,
What
man.
year was that, Captain Crunch? 1977? Let us know. What you got here? This. Oh,
So again, I'm trying to get some of these the keys that I really like, and again, Hulk is a big one for me. And the first Hulk versus the Thing was, again, MCU. It might happen, so I'm like, I would like to get this book, and then again,
that would bring the MCU back. A Hulk versus Thing battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, super happy with that. Again, mid grade, but can't complain.
Wow, it's beautiful. I don't even have that in a US version.
And he's got I've Hulk's got his fingers.
Yep. Yep.
I was like,
Jack was busy.
yeah,
Extra finger,
It's the Avengers 2 Hulk where he has 3 toes.
right. Oh, that's right as well. I actually forgot about that.
He was being somewhat consistent.
All right,
That
here
was
comes a big book.
This was before that. This is around Hulk 5, Hulk 4. This is
You
when,
think so, right?
and it's funny how that book was the original 6-issue Hulk series was done on such on the fly that they probably didn't remember whether he could change. If Rick Jones had to help him change with the gamma ray machine, but there's his purple shorts. All right, speaking of keys,
And this one, which again, super happy with this one. I know I paid £9,000 for this one.
yeah,
So
worth it.
That auction occurred overnight for me,
Yeah.
and I remember it was very late in the day, and I put this bid in, and I was not expecting it to get anywhere near that. I'd sort of had all the way up to £20,000, thinking, "God, this is not going to go at that price." And then when it went at 9,000, I just was literally blown away.
You had no competition, or
I think it was when post comic, because it was about two or 3 months ago. So
okay.
the prices were starting to come back.
Soften, yeah.
So I think that was the big piece. There was, I got a lot of these books in that session because people were just not putting the money down. I think they were all nervous. So
now, what did you do when you submit? You brought all this stuff because postage from Australia to Sarasota, Florida is really prohibitive.
Not only that, just the taking the books and trusting the post with it. To me, it would be, especially with books of this value, I would be really nervous about.
How do you prep them? Do you do any kind of pressing or cleaning?
I do if I've got time with these. I know I hate to say this, but sometimes I'll use CCS. I think it's less of a problem on books like this.
Wait until they pop a staple.
I have had that happen.
He's bitter.
Very bitter.
I've
They
heard
popped
better
at Cap
things about
117.
CCS recently, and maybe they've improved in that. But no, I think I would trust them with these books.
I think it's a bit different when they're this.
Right.
Yeah, I would hope they would treat those with care.
Yeah, and I mean it's an interesting one. I had a 2000 AD #1 that I submitted, and they wouldn't press it or clean it because it was too big for their
Right.
presses. And so they were very good in terms of coming back and saying they weren't able to do that. And then when there have been issues, they always try and make good on it. In my experience, I don't know. Same for you, John.
Yeah, I got some credit for my Cap 117. I was still mad.
It always happens on the best books. Though.
There are very few Captain America keys from the Silver and Bronze Age. You've got 100, you've got 117. Those are the two biggies, right?
Right.
My 100 came back, okay. My 117, they popped the staple. It was probably a 9.2. And I just submitted a 180, but I pressed that one myself. But no more cap keys, really. First Crossbones, maybe? I don't know.
It's a funny run, that one.
Yeah. But you've got other stuff here.
I've got
I love that. Yeah, keep
Well, sure. It's like, okay, this is not UK price range. This is probably up your alley, actually, more than anything else. I've got a couple of Mr. Miracles.
I just submitted my #1.
So I'm still looking for a #1.
Okay.
I've got high grade one, but it's impossible.
Do you have #4, Barda?
At home, I think so, but I can't remember. It's in a box somewhere.
That's the next one
Actually-
to submit.
Here's what I should do: check my Wakuma.
Please go on to Wacom and check your Wacom app to see.
It should be on. I do if I can get on my phone.
I think let's record this. This is going to be a real commercial in real time for Wacom.
Actually, let me see if I can get it. Anyway, that's a 5.
Yeah.
And then I got this, which I'm again look. Quality.
Third Shiloh Norman.
I think so. but
Beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, this is gorgeous
I
book.
saw an issue prior to this 9.2. One of the dealers had it for like $70, and I was like, "Oh, should I not?"
Now-
Well, this one I'm happy with.
This is
Did you
shiny,
just
and
get
not just because of the Mylar. It is actually a really high quality book.
Did you just get this today?
No, so
Oh,
I've had
okay.
this a while. So this, well, actually, I have that.
What's it like buying books in Melbourne?
Terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What do
because
you have to do?
because you have to have a storage locker over here. That you get everything sent to
Oh,
you, and then you collate everything. I either fly over, pick up the books, and then submit them like I'm doing now, or I get them shipped across to Australia. And again, it's
No LCS.
there is LCS, but there's literally I'm part of the community over there. The community is really good, but all the books are so thin on the ground, and there's very little. What's interesting at the moment in Australia is the collectors over there are really focusing in on Australian actual comic books rather than, but essentially reprints. And there's some really good ones. Like I saw a Daredevil the other day, which has got this. It's almost like a teal cover, and it's beautiful, but it's so different to the Daredevil. It takes the inner page, the first splash page, as the front cover. And again, that's what they're doing at the moment. There's a lot of like digging around for those because they realize that it's hard getting the US books in. And again, now with the prices so high, we have a limit of $1,000. So it's like if you're shipping anything in, you're paying customs and excise.
Do you have
How
to,
long have you been? Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, there's custom tax, right? When you're dealing with that, so it could be worth your money to fly here and pick them up.
Well,
You still have to pay customs, though, right? If you return with
if you return when you bought them, yes. But then luckily, I think when grading happens, it's a different kettle of fish because they've been in your possession. Given how long CGC takes to grade, sometimes your books have been sitting in the US for a year and a half.
Because they had it for 2 years. Now they're worth half.
the CGC diet. Yes.
All right. Oh, look at this.
Isn't that
Everybody.
gorgeous?
Yeah, show it.
So that's another.
All right. I was telling David, this is my favorite era of Fantastic Four. The covers are like paintings. They're just unbelievably gorgeous.
I'm looking at the logo on the back of your backing boards. Are they stamping those themselves, or are they?
They are. Yes.
That's cool.
But again, this is another one where graded. I don't know. I mean, to your point, the colours on it feel really nice.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, it's not going to get anything too hard on the 9 because of that.
There's a curve.
Yeah, there is a curve, especially for older books.
There's a little of a curve.
But again, that's a US copy, so I'm happy. I'd still take US copies every day of the week. This one's super high grade. I'm just putting it in this week. An Avengers Annual. I'm a bit still confused by these because they don't seem to have original stories in them.
The first few years from 63, 64, 65, 66, they had originally that was all original, like Spider-Man Annual #1, Fantastic Four Annual 1, all original material. Second year, Jack Ditko, they're drawing too many books. So it's a lead story, 18-page story is new. Third year, you get like Journey into Mystery Annual #1. You get like maybe a 12, 13-page news story. And then after that, they're like, except for Fantastic Four and Spider-Man, they kept doing news stories in those. The rest of them became mostly reprint.
Right, so this is all reprint.
That's all reprint.
Oh, so maybe I shouldn't submit.
Yeah, I don't even think Avengers Annual 1 forward. I think there was one original story in Avengers Annual 1, which is the Spider-Man, where Spider-Man is they're hazing him to join the Avengers. The mission is go capture the Hulk for us.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, geez, you guys can't do it. What am I supposed to do?
So that's okay. So I probably won't submit that. But again, it's one of those where you look at it and you go, it's
gorgeous.
It looks great. Like
we have a new viewer, Adam, who asks, "Is that Chris Claremont?"
This one.
You. No, Adam, I assume you mean our friend David from Australia here. We're talking about foreign variants and what's happening here at Baltimore Comic Con. He's got a bunch of foreign variants we're showing off and also some U.S. high-grade stuff, including the first High Evolutionary.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this was a complete surprise. Now, this was one of those not it just kind of comes in this mix a lot. And it arrived, and the other books were not very good looking at all. This was just stunning.
And People Breeders is always my favorite from, the People Breeders.
It's Kim and Kelly Deal. There's a deep cut for you guys.
So I have I think I've got a 6.0 or 6.5 UK pence of this. But this will just be like it.
As big as a Kirby fan I am, I don't collect Thor.
Right.
No?
It just never resonated, except for Hercules. It just never really resonated for me.
So, David, how much of this is for your collection, and how much of it are we going to see for sale in Australia?
Of this lot, it's all PC.
Okay.
All PC.
It's all gorgeous stuff.
All PC. There's a couple in there that I might book this year.
Someone's asking if you have any Starankos.
No, at home.
Okay.
At home. But again, I don't think there's many Starankos. Oh, there is a few. There's a number of pence editions of Steranko.
Yeah, a Shield for sure, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, this one is not a US comic. It's a UK comic. Big fan of Captain Britain.
Did you come up in the 80s with Captain Britain?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, actually in the 70s, because he was launched in 78.
Oh, I'm giving you credit for being younger.
Oh, really hard.
Okay. So you were there for the original Claremont Trippy.
Yeah. So I got a couple of those signed by Claremont. Unfortunately, I missed Trimpy before he passed. So this is a key issue because it's the first Betsy Braddock as Captain Britain. So the new run has Betsy Braddock as Captain Britain, but this is actually the first time she appeared. Wow. She's in the last panel. So it's technically
issue 8.
This is issue 12.
Oh, okay. This is the Moore Davis run.
Well, actually, Moore had left at this point. It was purely Davis.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, they didn't throw Steve Parkhouse on there? This seems to be their go-to scripter.
I think. And then this one, take the sticker off because this is going to get graded this week. So this is Captain Britain issue 2, which is going to TGC. And
what are they going to do with the boomerang? Yeah, what are they going to do with the boomerang?
So I get them to remove the free gift from the centerfold before cleaning and pressing, and then they reinsert it during the grading process in the middle, so it's as it was originally.
Oh, that's amazing! Now that's definitely worth it. Yeah.
So it was in the book, or was it?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is another one that's interesting. So in the UK, the news agencies, the masks and free gifts generally, unless they were like a poster, wouldn't be attached, and these were all sort of like, they weren't glued. They were just, the pages were so tightly pressed that they didn't come off. But they put the masks or whatever free gift in. My father was a news agent, which is why I know. And so they put the masks, or the boomerang in this case, in there loose. And the amount of these boomerangs that just lie on the shelf that sold these books. And then some unscrupulous children would generally try and scoop one or two extra masks or free gifts.
You just want the prize.
Yeah, so they'd scoop them into their issue, but they were always loose. CGC don't just put it back in and it's fine. I had one of these graded by CBCS, and they had this view that the masks were originally glued in, and then they had become detached. And I'm like, well, that's not the case.
Right. I think they're probably thinking like Doctor Who Weekly.
Possibly.
The front cover, they would have the decals on there, and it would be glued. And I have one of those that I had to press myself, which was a lot of fun pressing that with a decal. So that might be where they got that mistaken impression. But you're right; those things are loose.
Yeah, they were totally loose, and it's this sort of thing. It's a shame I can't build it.
Show the boomerang. Boomerang. Yeah,
it's the unbuilt boomerang.
The unbuilt boomerang. One of my favorite ones was the Star Wars issues, the Star Wars UK issues that they had, and they had an X-wing and a TIE fighter that you'd pop out and build, awesome. And they were so amazing.
What was the one that I just saw it the other day, where it was the Concorde, and you had to build and paint the Concorde that came with it? You have some questions here. As a teenager in the 80s, I loved British comics. Judge Dredd and Slain were my favorites. You just submitted a 2081 or 2?
2082. It got an 8.
Wow.
So.
And I love Captain Britain. Being from England and old enough to be there at the start, it says second best Bob. What part of the UK were you from?
The West Midlands. I was in Birmingham, so that's right. Well, supposedly slap bang in the middle, but it was, yeah.
Did you know Duran Duran?
I do have a Duran Duran story.
That's okay. Now we're talking. Let's hear it.
Oh no! So I was in a hotel in Hawaii on holiday, and Simon Le Bon was on the same floor, and shared a lift with him a couple of times. But yeah, and it's one of those moments where you sort of go, "This is one of my heroes," because I love Duran Duran, and you're like, "You can't say anything. Yeah. Just don't say anything." So you just, maybe stand there and hum the Reflex or something.
I will tell you, I work in the music industry. I worked at their label. I show you some selfies in a second. They love being recognized.
Oh, do they?
You absolutely, if you ever run across any member of Duran Duran, ask for a selfie and say hi.
Okay, I'll do that.
They're offended if you don't.
No.
There are other artists I can tell you not to do that with, but them you can do that.
Yeah,
you've been in Melbourne how long now?
15 years.
It's messed with your accent.
Yes, it's terrible. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. So this week has been English, Australian, Kiwi. Yeah, I get everything now.
Dave, thank you so much for sitting with us. This is amazing stuff.
Awesome collection. Let us know when you get these graded.
Will do.
What the grades come back, because I would love to see it.
We appreciate it. And take care of this stuff. You took it as a carry-on, right?
Yes.
Yes. Do you need one of my comic holders? My store folios?
Oh, no,
you sure?
I've got 3 more.
What are these left from us?
Oh no, these are. So these are. Just
show us these.
So these are UK, old school UK.
Mighty World of Marvel Weekly, right?
So this is issue 1.
Was this a weekly or monthly?
This, I think it was a monthly. Yeah, weekending. So ending. So this was a monthly. And this one has the first AF-15, I think, in here. The Hulk issue 1 and Fantastic Four issue 1 reprinted. And then it's got, and I don't really know if I can take this out.
And this is the first issue, right?
This is the first issue.
That was a big deal in the UK when that launched, because this was the first
Oh wow.
Oh wait, he's got the iron on.
And it still comes with its original. I don't know if you can see that. Transfer T-shirt. Transfer.
That is so cool.
It's going to be a pain getting
That'll be fun.
ready.
Well, here, you take care of that.
Yeah.
Don't mess that up.
So that's this one. And then next, which is why I bought this, not the book itself, which is still pretty cool. It's these amazing stickers at the back.
Oh, that's so cool. Hey, growing up with the
That's
Cabbage
the
Patch
extra
Kids.
free mystery gift.
Extra free mystery gift,
Uh-huh.
yes.
That is
And they
awesome.
had value stamps in these as well.
Oh,
But they were like, they're twice the size of normal value stamps you've seen in these.
Who's on the sticker here? Oh, Sue Storm. I thought it was a sticker.
you're too old, Joe.
You know, I can deal with an Alicia Nash sticker. Papa, can you see me? But again, David, thank you so much. We appreciate you stopping. Appreciate you flying all the way from Australia to be with us.
Yes.
Me too.
We're gonna take a break. We're gonna be back later on.